Hey everybody, we are back with another Teaching Tip Tuesday. I am AFAA Master Instructor Jay Guillory,
And I am AFAA Master Instructor Christine Woods.
and we are here again for some more things and tips and all tidbits of information that we can give you to become the best instructor that you can be. So we are now in our Instructor Essentials series. Last week we spoke about what's in your gym bag. So Christine, what are some of the things that we did last week?
Yeah, last week we were talking about, what are those things you absolutely must have when you are going to the facility and teaching an in-person class versus what are some things that you should definitely have at home for home-based teaching.
Absolutely. So today we're going to move on to talking about your instructor persona. Like, how do you create your instructor persona? There are three things that Christine and I have come up with that will help you develop the person that you are when you're in front of the class. Number one, your influences. What instructors influenced you?
Yeah, think about and what it is, what do they have that you want that you think your students will really gravitate towards? So when I think about my influences, I go directly to those fitness icons that I've been watching since I was a high schooler and doing VHS tapes in my basement. So, I think to, Jen Miller doing that Step Reebok tape, right? And how she was so commanding and followable, right? Just so clear in her direction. And I love that. And I've always taken that and wanted to, project in such a clear and concise way. I think about Petra Kolber and how she makes me feel so, good about myself after I've finished one of her classes, one of her DVDs. And then I think about, when I used to watch ESPN, I would watch Kiana Tom's Flex Appeal and how she would just get in there hardcore with the weights and really show women, how they can transform their bodies and how they can be, empowered with strength training. And I've learned something from each one of those that I've tried to kind of put forth into my style of teaching.
Absolutely. And for me, I would have to say my influences don't even come from the fitness industry. My influences came from the Army because I was in the Army for a period of time. So for me, watching my drill sergeants, I remember some of them very, very vague, very, very prominent in the things that they said, the way that they acted in front of class, like being able to stand in front of 600 soldiers and command this presence that you have in it's like 600 of them and there's only one of you and they're all still scared to attack you because you have so much presence when you're in the front of them. So that was, for me, probably one of my biggest influences. And then when I was exposed to the commercial fitness industry, then it became that first Step Reebok video, like you said. That changed my life because I can tell you right now, give me any timestamp in that video and I will verbatim just go into automatic Jen Miller viewing mode because I think she is phenomenal.
So good. So good.
Phenomenal. So no matter where you get your influences from, I think influences can come from anywhere. And the thing that you have to do is figure out the traits that you want to have as an instructor and the best things that you can choose to be the best instructor that you can be. Number two would have to be your instructor presence. What you are or what you present while you're in the front of the class. And one of the first things that I would have to say would be confidence. Confidence, because being in a position of authority as a coach or as an instructor, it's a huge deal. So I know for me, what helped me with my confidence was education. Continuing education, reading the book, studying, making sure that I knew what I was talking about when I was in front of class. I know, Christine, for you, it was experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Having the sound knowledge is super helpful and you need it. You need to know the theory, you need to know the why behind what you're saying, right? And you need to be able to articulate all these things well, right? So the education is paramount. But I think in building confidence, it's equal parts. It's the education and then just getting the experience, because no matter how much book knowledge you have, again, we've mentioned this before, once you get in front of a live audience, your nerves take over. And then no matter how much you think or no matter how much you do, if you're still kind of shaky in your delivery, it comes across as a lack of confidence or knowledge.
Absolutely.
So I think you really have to have a good balance of both the education and the experience if you really want to exude confidence in your presentation.
Yep. Another thing would be engaging. You want to be the instructor that's engaging. Like, you want to get people involved in your class. You want to give them the reason for why they're there.
Yeah. And again, being engaging, that happens in a variety of ways, but knowing them personally, knowing again what's going on behind the scenes, knowing them by their name, that's super helpful. Connecting with them, so that's connecting them with in a verbal way, but connecting with them while you're teaching, making sure things like your eyes are on them, you're making eye contact, or if you're able to go around the room and you're able to give them specific alignment cues, kind of personalizing the attention that you're giving them. That's super helpful. And then, of course, your music can also make an experience more engaging and facilitate like the group dynamic, when the music's really pumping and you're trying to get people to get through a intense interval or something like that. Your music can help kind of build on that and just can pump everyone up. The music plays a great part. Yeah.
And that also brings us to our last point, is being motivating and or supportive of your participants. Because I think that is probably the one important job that is life-changing or creates a huge and awesome experience for participants, is when you are supportive and when you are motivated.
Absolutely. I mean, people want that. They're coming to you for the experience, right? And it's not just about how hard you work them. It's about how they're connecting with you and how they're feeling overall when it's done, right?
Absolutely.
And I would say because I know myself and I know I'm a more of an introverted personality, I'm not the person who's going to rah, rah, rah. That's just not my style, but I'm going to motivate and I'm going to support people with the way I'm interacting with them. It's just going to perhaps be a little more subtle and calm, because that's just my way.
Which I think is always good, because I think if it's one thing that everyone should take away from this video in particular, is the fact that we are all different individuals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which means, and we teach to all different individuals. So there is a place for everyone when it comes to teaching group fitness, because people are drawn to your persona. Mm-hmm. And there are some people, I've learned as a group fitness instructor, that sometimes my persona needs to change based off of the format of class I'm teaching. That's true. I mentioned earlier in my influences about my drill sergeants. Trust me, in boot camp, it's on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes out really, really bad. And the funny thing is in my fitness career, I've had people that have been in boot camps with me, and then they've hired me as a personal trainer, and they were expecting the same person. And I was like, but no, I really don't scream and yell like that at people all the time. So no, that's not what we're going to do here today. We're just going to exercise. So I think it's a thing that sometimes you do. Like, I call it an alter ego. Actually, I call it a superhero. Like, when I'm in front of a classroom, I have a superhero. It's like if you're as old as I am and you remember Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. Like, Linda Carter used to do that little spin, and she used to turn into this, this superhero. So for me, it's just a superhero. I'm like, hey, Clark Kent had his thing. He would go into a telephone booth and he would come out and he would be Superman. So for me, I always think that within the first 5 minutes of pressing play, somehow or another, this other persona just comes out, and then I become that person.
Yeah. Yeah. You take, right. I've seen you. Yeah. You take it to a kind of a larger than life persona experience. And that's what people, love. That's what they love about your class. Whereas, yeah, I'm just a little more, I guess I just keep a little bit more in line with,
You're a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll.
you got it. Exactly. Love it. I love it. Yes.
And our
Perfect.
last point would be edutainment. And edutainment basically is education and entertainment, and those words have been meshed together to make edutainment.
Right. And so the idea is, ideally, you would like to have a nice balance of
Absolutely.
education and entertainment in your presentation. And so, like I said, I'm probably skewed a little one way more so than the other. And I think it just comes from my comfort level and my experience. I've spent 17 years in education, so that's what I know, and that's what I tend to preach. And in the same, while I always think to myself, I'm doing good by dumping all of this information on my people, you have to be weary of the fact that nobody's looking for anything. No one's there for an education lesson, right? Like,
They're not there for college credits.
they're not there for college credits. Exactly. Well said. Yeah. They're there for fitness. So don't make it heavy, but I think you can find a balance to bring information into the session, but also keep it light so that the atmosphere is positive.
Absolutely. And speaking of keeping it light, guess what? That's all we got time for today. So again, I want to thank you all for joining Christine and I every Tuesday, because we have an awesome time doing these for you. I am AFAA Master Instructor Jay Guillory.
And I'm AFAA Master Instructor Christine Woods.
And we will see you next week. Have a great day.